So Ravioli and Tomato are doing amazingly well. Now they've been here a couple years, they've really settled in, they've gotten to know all of the staff's gotten to know them really well, all the other animals that they're living with, they're all doing really well together. Ravi and Tomato were both rescued animals at a stranding center. The goal of all the stranding centers is to get them healthy, get some weight on them, get them some live fish at the end of their rehab so they can learn how to hunt on their own and release them. With Ravioli, because of the condition she was in when she was brought to the stranding center, some well-meaning individuals picked her up, thought she had been abandoned, took her home. In reality, she was just very young and born a bit premature as well. But because they took her home, she had some issues where she couldn't control her body temperature. She did end up having some seizures and a couple other things that they had to get her healthy from. So because of that, she wasn't able to go back out in the wild. With Tomato, his story is similar. He was a little bit older when he stranded. He was on the beach and people found him. They do believe that he was bitten by a dog that was just loose on the beach out in California. So because they got one of the places that they bit him was in his face and one of his eyes, we don't think he sees hardly anything out of that eye. So with that, that's one of the things that can deem them non-releasable. There are several things that they always do try to get them healthy and get them, able to be released. Not always the case, and we were very fortunate that Ravi and Tomato were able to grow up together and then come here together as well. The amount of things that they have learned since they've gotten here is just astronomical. When they got here, they didn't even know their names. That is really one of the very first things that we teach any animal here that's completely novel or green. We want them to know their name, they get to know us, that we bring food, and then we start teaching them behaviors. All of that stuff makes it easier for us to take care of them. And they have learned dozens of behaviors in the years they've been here. Once they learn the easy stuff, we can build up to some hard stuff as well. So even some difficult behaviors like sitting still to get their vaccines every year. They're champs at it. Tomato is super excited about enrichment. He loves a hose spray. Anytime, we have to hose that exhibit every single morning. You would think he would get bored. He does not. They also both really like some of the kelp stuff that we put out on exhibit. Now out in the wild, they would be found in kelp forests. That's where you'll find a lot of harbor seals. So we don't use real kelp here. We have simulated kelp with car wash strips or felt pieces like that. So we have one big long sheet that we put out that they like to get on top of or roll around in. We have some that are cut into strips that they like to sort of chew on or twirl themselves up in and just sort of have fun with that. The biggest thing for the staff is that it's so fun to sort of watch them grow and develop. It's not always that we get a new animal that they're such young, naive animals. So really getting to see the two of them start from the very beginning to learn even the basic stuff of their name. They didn't know their name, they didn't know any behaviors, they didn't even know how to eat from hands. At the stranding center, you just put food in the water and they'd swim around and eat it. So having to work with them so much to build that trust, to get them to be able to trust us, to be willing to be brave enough to try not just new foods, but going new places and trying new behaviors. It's amazing to be able to sort of watch that as they grow and develop. We're loving it and hope we can do it for many more years.